Eternal sleep. I mean, I just need that. And so nature's cycle, that's it. So the idea that there is this eternal life, eternal conscious, limitless consciousness within us that allows us to be in contact with everything in our life, from the inside of our head, the dreams, the thoughts, the logics, to the outer world and experience with the elements, with the non-physical, with the physical stuff, non-sentient stuff, with the sentient beings, with animals, with more intellectual, powerful beings like humans, up to humans, maybe elephants, more. So the idea that then we confront each other and meet each other in this natural environment. One thing we can think about is that nature that is out there has also an inward dimension, like we do. So inside everything, sentient beings have this inward world, and then non-sentient beings, minerals, would also have this source of energy itself. And plants would also have inward designed consciousness world. There's a plant is programmed to root down to the soil to find water towards the gravitational center of the earth and go upward towards the sun. If you plant one seed here, it will sprout the green leaves up, the roots down. If you rotate it the other way, it will turn upside down, just like it's supposed to. So there's an inward consciousness in the plant, somehow, to do what it's supposed to do. And from that inward consciousness, a lot of it is manifested outward. It gives food, it gives leaves. We produce thoughts, and thoughts produce actions, and we come to manifest in the outer world a lot of this existence. And the idea that nature itself, what I mean by nature is the physical dimension of our level of existence in Earth, in our bodies. The inward self, the one that is observing yourself, the one is observing the one that is observing yourself, that one that is observing the one that is observing yourself, that one is your true self, deep within. And to think about that nature is like the dress code for this part of existence on the planet Earth. coming from that self as well. And then why there's so much shift from balance to unbalance, constantly happening, night and day, winter and summer. There's always this shift, this cycle going on. In our life, we are hungry, then we're satisfied, then we're hungry, then we're satisfied. So there's this cycle. Body needs to cycle it up, because what we're dealing with is, in nature, is finite stuff. Things that are finite, they're not infinite. And then there is this bridge between infinite and non-infinite stuff. So the consciousness has to deal to live in this level of existence that we are living in. We cannot run away from it. Don't run, because probably it's the purpose of it. You're supposed to be here and to be doing this play game. Like, universe is testing us. If you know really what your true self is, then go live in this world where things keep changing, where things keep dying and giving birth again. Things keep growing from scratch and things keep dying from scratch. Live in an unconstant reality to test your knowingness of your limitless self and reality. So the idea of balance in this world, is that we're constantly facing things that leave us and things that arrive to us, and we're still able to say, it's alright, This is just a shell of the ghost, or this is just a temporary phase of something. Even a big rock changes, lava flows out, changes, shifts mountains, on a long scale. We live like 100 years, short-term living, for what planet Earth is, and we see a lot of change. Imagine during the millions, billions of years of Earth or universe. Things keep changing. And the idea is that we're not always identifying ourselves with the outer reality. We live in it, we work with it, okay? We have something to do here. But maybe the test is, do we really know what we are? Are we really able to keep that within us and to carry that within us wherever we go, wherever conflict we find, wherever relationship we encounter, with whatever it is? And is it nature the reality, or is it just like a fluid form that, if you look up close, it keeps dying and growing, dying and growing. But if you look away, it looks ever living. If you look from far. So even nature has this thing. Why we are always hungry, and then we eat, we're satisfied, and then we're hungry again, and then we eat, we're satisfied. Because my body looks like the same since you know me, and it has been changing. Cells have been dying, cells have been growing, dying, growing, every day. And in the same way, myself is kind of still the same consciousness, although learning, growing, expanding, learning you learning me, I'm growing with you. But the body is always changing. And when you think that we all keep this balanced lifestyle, or this balanced body that sustains itself, it's because we are always feeling ourselves going out of balance, feeling hungry, feeling needy, feeling like we need sustenance, and we're putting ourselves back into balance. And we go to the other side. Too much sleep, okay, let's wake up. Too much waking up, okay, let's sleep. There's always this, like when we do a balance pose, when you see a picture of someone doing a balance pose story, we see a story about someone doing a balance pose, it looks like it's stays there, you know. But probably that person is like doing the efforts, micro efforts, to the left, to the right, moving the hips left and right. It's like it's holding there. So in between the imbalance that is happening to the extension to one side or the extension to the other side, it finds a point of balance in the middle. Okay. So it's never like things are never. They look like there's something, but they're really not. And nature, the cyclic nature is like that. It looks like it's always a constant, like the consciousness dies and comes back again, but maybe just went to sleep, maybe just there. The idea is that during whatever circumstance you live in nature, you know, in the cycle of nature, it's up to us to interpret what's going on and to put ourselves steady and back to the center, back to the balance. Because nature is always changing. Circumstances is always changing. Whenever we move to a new town, move to a new house, and think, okay, this will be wonderful forever. Nice tree giving me shade all year. But then winter comes, the leaves fall down, the sun comes in, it ruins your living room because it starts burning your soil and your wood and your fruits get spoiled. So that was a change and you thought it would be forever. And that brings us sorrow, that brings us like a little bit. So I thought it was going to be forever. So we take limited things of life, of nature living, as if completely forever, limitless stuff, and then we start identifying our own limitless self with limited things. We start changing the perspective. And that's where when ignorance starts to set in. We start mistaking ourselves as like this limited self, conditioned self. And we start to constantly allow darkness to come in, or to allow limit thoughts and habits to come in. So, you know, it's up to us to kind of remember and to always be aware of the changes that happen outside and within us as well. Like I said, there is a witness of our outside through the senses. Then there is a witness of the person that's witnessing the outside. And then there is a witness of the witness of the all the way back to, I don't know. It seems like it's somewhere in our guts. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
In the heart.
It's in the heart, pumping center of life for us. There's this story of the monkey that's living on a room on top of a tower in a castle, and he's stuck there, and the only thing he has to do in that empty little room is to stare out the window to entertain himself. But he does that for a while, looking outside, and he starts to get bored. You know, he starts to get bored, feeling alone in such an empty room. He starts to question himself, how the hell did I get here? Who put me here? Who locked me up here? These questions start to rise up so much that he starts to get very dark, you know, very like heavy thoughts, very like pessimistic and depressive kind of state. These thoughts of like something's against him starts invading violently and becomes such a torment. First starts to feel anxiety, starts to sweat, it starts to feel this torment around him, the walls start closing in on him, everything starts to shrink. The monkey's like, he was restless before, but now he's like being pulled in, and the torment gives rise to a lot of demons around him. Like he starts seeing demons that come in to give the biggest afflictions of his life, and they give him like suffering forever. And that goes for days. He's like continuously there, and he keeps thinking, why the hell? What am I doing here? And he realizes, like, I'm in hell. I'm not in a tiny room. I'm in hell. I'm in this demon full of demons place, and they are all colors. They afflict me in every sense. And after a while, it's so common, it's so usual that it's kind of able to support all that torment for a while. He's able to probably say hi one day. He's able to say hi to the demons until one day the demons like just calm down and vanish. And he's like feeling like, wow, this room is quite nice. You know, it's really nice, it's very ample. And he wakes up very peaceful one day. He goes out to the window and looks at the window outside, and he feels not so bad to live in this room, you know. It's quite like heaven, in a way. He's very happy. And then he probably continue like that until one day he gets bored again. He gets bored. He asks himself, why am I here? And so there's this cycle going on. You know, this is analogy for the mind, how we kind of just can be putting ourselves so many questions without knowing the power of me, the power of I, and able to move within, question and bring us darkness and make us feel light again.
Just where we put our attention and perspective.
Exactly, where we put our attention and perspective. From what perspective do we look at stuff? You know? And the monkey mind, easy, always moving, that's why yoga shikta vritti nirodha. You wanna stop it, wanna see it, don't have that monkey mind jumping. We never said that the door was locked in that room, you know? Maybe the monkey could have left. Never question that. It's a monkey, you know? It doesn't open with us. So it's that. There's a cycle within us as well. The idea of nature being the dress code of this reality. In Bhagavad Gita, in the Vedas, they define as three main ingredients of reality. One that is more heavy, more dull, tamas. One is very active, very fire, full of action, the rajas. And the sattvic, that is more pure, more light. That would be what nature is made of. It's three things. And when nature is in balance, it's a sattvic dimension that is more predominant. When one is in predominance, all the other two stop. But the fact is that in life, things keep shifting from rajas to tamas, and you have to balance these two to find sattva in the middle. And the balance is, it depends on what perspective you have on things. The big idea I think we should have out of this conversation is that whether or not we are going to live here and to be living in this dimension, you already made that choice long ago. You came here. Now what you have to do is kind of like let go of that and enjoy whatever this dimension has to offer. Be in the right path and kind of let the things unfold slowly. You know, just keep doing your dharma, doing your karma. Try to change your life towards the better, or keep the better as it is. Just watch the changes going, be touched, and full of life. Anything you have? No question. What else? Dharma is the righteousness. Also goes for like a cosmic law of righteousness. It will be like nature's dharmic way is just a way that works. And it's the righteous way. So when you're full of dharma, when you're full of cosmic righteousness, It's not like right and wrong, it's not good or bad. It's just a cosmic way. So you're kind of feeling that inside of you this is the right thing to do, you do it. But you gotta be feeling it inside.
It's like the Bhagavad Gita, you know the story? Bhagavad Gita? No? Okay, so there is this story about Arjuna, which is like this guy that is about to go to a fight against his family and brothers and people he cares about, but his dharma is like he is a warrior, so his dharma is to fight.
Okay.
It's not to fight.
Right.
No. The right thing to do for him, because he's a warrior, is to fight.
Yeah, and this kind of position in our life keeps changing,
Yes.
One day she's going to be a mother.
Yes.
You cannot abandon that responsibility. I can.
No.
I'm not going to be a mother. So, in a way, nature's cycle makes us feel very anxious because it keeps changing. You never know how the summer is going to be. The summer is now over for sure. It's still sunny. We're hoping the summer to come back, but it's not like from the date. 15th of March is on. Open the doors to summer. You never know. We have to live with this unknown. And one of the good things of this limitful reality is that we have to deal with the unknown. We have to deal with, even though it's changing and dying, that's for sure. So it's changing, so we'll be birthed, we'll be dead, We have to, we don't know when, we don't know how, we have to accept, move on. So it's a big practice to live like this. And I always like to bring out into our practice. Our practice has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And we don't know if we're going to be able to do everything we want to do, everything that is designed for us to do, or how, if we're going to be frustrated in the moment we cannot, if we're going to be jumping in joy when we can do it. Probably in Ashtanga, when you put a lot of focus to reach one point or to develop one skill, one pose, when you do it, it will be like a soft celebration. Okay, next thing, change. It's so steady, you managed to do something. Maybe in the end, when you're taking a coffee before the yoga talk, you tell, wow, I managed to do that. Yeah? It's so cool. You don't celebrate parties about the conquerors of asana in that way. You can do it, but it will be weird, very strange. You can be happy about it for sure. But so in asana practice, you can feel the body changes. It's not the same as it was yesterday. It's not going to be the same in 1 month. Maybe the postures you can do today might be gone next year. We don't know what's going to happen. And we have to deal with this uncertainty. With women's cycle, they feel a lot of changes during the month. They might feel more tired one part of the month, less tired the other part. So observe these changes. Men also, we feel in the summer more too that we put practice now, practice to get walls well, and then later. We also don't know, like we start our practice, we don't know we're going to be fully focused and strong enough for that point in practice where we need our strength. We don't know, but we keep focused moment by moment. The start of a pose, the end of a pose, the start of a vinyasa, the end of a vinyasa, and we get into that flow. Inhale, exhale, okay? Inhale is born, exhale is dying. Okay? Like we're playing with nature. Somehow the breath being this bridge between the nature where we move our body, because if we didn't breathe, it's dead, right? So we move our body with breath, and then when we're doing all of this, we're inside, witnessing. First we can witness the body, then it becomes more subtle. We already know the movement of the body, we just focus on the breath. And then we focus on how the nervous system is reacting. Is it the nervous? Is it not the nervous? Is the heart pumping fast or is it slow? I never know if Tina is gonna scream, behave. So nature is this thing, and then it's like breath is all there is, asana happens in between. So like consciousness is all there is, and the waking life happens in between. Because we're asleep here, full consciousness, maybe full deep sleep, it's so huge, constant, we don't even remember. Then we wake up, dream state, waking up, wake up the body, practice, do life, breakfast, work, do chanting, then do surfing, then dinner, then relax, movie, and then relax more, brush your teeth, sleep. Sleep, goes to dream state, then deep sleep again. So consciousness is all there is. In the middle there was asanas, moving a lot. The middle is nature cycle between day and night. Day, night. Night, day, night. And all of that was consciousness that goes from the unmanifest to the manifest, the unconsciousness to the consciousness. And the idea of balance and unbalance is just a reality of nature, of the nature of reality, of our dimension. And probably could have and wish for a reality of physical life that was less unbalanced. We could have wished for that. People who have more steady, happy thoughts and righteous, dharmic thoughts, But we're not. Actually, we're very happy that here in Porto, the community we're building around, there's very nice people, we gather them, and we're very happy about that. But if you just walk a few blocks, there will meet for sure a very bad dog, something like that. And it's okay, it's just a phase. But the idea is that when we're stuck in the ignorance of life, physical reality is all there is, we start to create a perpetual unbalance in body, in health, in our psyche. It might look good for a few years, but after a while, or near death, or when we're in danger or something, panic attacks become strong, because we're so disconnected, so unbalanced, everything is just overwhelming.
Yeah, I know.
So in yoga we try to bring and make awareness about these facts or these suppositions that can be so true. We never know all of that, if it's true or not. But if it gives us comfort and keeps us doing the right thing, I think it's the best.
karma and dharma. Because just like even born as a warrior, he built some karma in a previous life.
Karma is the action.
Probably he would be doing good karma if he was doing his part of because you have to, in that perspective, it's very hard to think like that. It's very hard. And because in that perspective, you have to look from like the cosmic end, more out. And think about, this guy was born a warrior to fight for a land or something.
To fight for the right, because he was fighting for what's right.
But on the other end, the other people were also fighting for what's right.
Yes, for them.
But they were also warriors doing their dharma. And probably their death during the war would be like giving them karma points. Because when the people go voluntarily into a fight, it's not like you're finding them on the street and then taking them out. I think wars nowadays, they don't happen like, okay, let's all meet in the battlefield at 5, all the warriors fight, and the people in the village are safe. Okay, they will become. It would be just warriors fighting, but now I think it's different. You press a button, the bomb explodes in an area, everything goes down, and then political games, and then there's not. They could have put all the fights. Like you could say, like, in between Spain and Portugal would be the fighting pit for all the nations. I was going to say somewhere in the Middle East, but that's a bit sounds bad. But we could. I mean, if they want to fight, that's their dharma, deal. But then, it might not be. Today's world is very hard to apply these things because when these things were written, it was like it's the tribes. It was the tribes and little kingdoms. Would be part of creating safety for the community. To be a warrior would be an honorable thing. Nowadays, it's just so you're far away and nothing affects your. But the story of Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna is that he's feeling very bad to go and fight, because he's feeling that he has to fight for his clan, but he's fighting his uncles and his brothers. And of course, we're all brothers here. Like he's questioning himself. So he's given the choice of having all the armies in the world, or of having Ishvara, Krishna, by his side to help him out. And he chooses to have Krishna, the consciousness of the omnipresence being, the limitless consciousness. He chooses that by his side. And when he gains that, he becomes out of ignorance. And he's able to fight more steady, more focused, also knowing that he's not sending these other people who are dying towards hell or heaven. It's just like this eternal moment in consciousness before they get rebirth or this kind of thing. It's very hard to think like this. But the idea is that there is a dharma and it might change. You can just think of dharma as yamas and niyamas, where we're truthful, we don't steal, we don't cause harm, we're non-violent. When we're not, if you sign up in the army, you have other duties. You're not going to sign up in the army and then say, no, I will not bet, I will not kill. Probably you will be going somewhere, you gotta use your arm. If you sign up to the police, then the person who writes the law about the police, they have to be more careful, because in the US, I think they can shoot everybody. I don't know. But then it's like that. If you need another warrior in a noble fight, that's why there's like UFC, all these fighting things, jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, you guys choose to fight, you choose to go there and fight. It's an honorable thing. I don't blame you. Right? In the end, it's just nature's physical reality twisting between each other, trying to block the life force out of each other's body in a very peaceful and amicable way. In the end, you shake hands and you go to your house. Some takes a trophy, another doesn't take a trophy. Right?
Yeah.
How was your fights? It's cute. Yeah.
So I was thinking about the balance between, because competitiveness is also like
takes you out of
could take me out of balance.
of course.
Like actually the question behind this was, can you be balanced if you fight? Like, because I don't want to build any karma, of course, but it's just a game. It's really not like that.
Yeah.
It's in that sense of game. It's in that sense
When you realize that you are not your body, you're not your actions, you're not, you get detached.
Yeah.
And then there is you're not your karma, and you're dissolved from all of that.
It's a bit hard, you know. I'm really into this stuff, and sometimes people ask me, well, what about all the kids who were born with cancer? And I'm like, that's a hard question. That's the way of thinking. I don't have an answer, but I try to.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's really.
In a way, this question is trying to make you feel a bit guilty for your actions. And guilt is also very heavy stuff to carry on your consciousness. You're not responsible.
Yeah, you're not.
Probably, if you learn that your actions in jiu-jitsu fighting is making everyone feel concerned, you're aware of that, maybe you could do something to change that. If it's not like that, I don't know how that relates. But yeah, the idea is that your body and your whatever you carry, you're this conscious being came into the world and has like a magnetic shield. It creates this body around it. So it just came into the world, and then all the elements go into around the fetus, and then the cosmic laws just design this belly, brain, eyes, and very
it's been designed in the womb.
It's been designed in the womb of life. And then the idea is that you take it as like a vehicle on earth.
In the Bhagavad Gita they say like changing body, it's like going to a shop and changing your clothes.
Exactly.
It's very hard, what we do when we see danger, or when our most dear is passing away, we're kind of faced with this instinct of maybe guilt, maybe adrenaline, maybe something that runs inside that is designed for the being inside the body to feel a need for moving, for action, for change, for something. Change your position in life to make you safe. And some of the yoga practice more advanced are trying to move down and pacify this mechanics and bio reactions of the body to allow our consciousness to make a decision more consciously. Instead of just allowing the body to move by its own will, like it does in a genetic design way. Most people think, we're like this, we're natural. We're designed to be like that. But we're also a kind of species that is super clever, intellectual, that can shift our reality a bit more. Even if we become aware of the person that's aware of the aware, we'll be able to identify things that come up in our body, anxieties and sense of adrenaline and rage, or a bit of depression, like we're seeing the monkey feeling down, tormented, and we're able to kind of put that into perspective, like we're saying before, and being able to pacify and change. So it's not like, that's why human beings are very powerful beings on Earth, because we have this capacity to look beyond and more, not so much more, but more than a species that is just moved by natural instincts. Because we have natural plus an extra of artificially made by rational logic perspective, And probably that's not so good when we're doing that against the natural order of the planet. We're doing that, but we could use that in favor because you understand. That's why tribes in like deep forests, deep jungles, they fit in so well because they allow this natural, this rationality, this logic to the natural ways of the environment in such a deep way that even they live in between tigers and elephants and big dangerous spiders, and they are a human being species that lives there. And not only because it's so logical and rational, but because it's also connected to intuitive and spiritual side of life. And I'm talking about this. I wish I was living there, but I'm here somehow. I feel like I understand how they live there. But the idea is to use this awareness and move within the cosmic world, even though in a physical vehicle, according to the laws of the cosmos of life. Yeah. When you understand so much and you're not bound by ignorance and so limiting beliefs, identifying yourself with limiting unconditional senses, ideas of self, you're able to expand and move forward or move wherever you want and project and manifest whatever life you want. The most important thing in our world is health, For now, it's the main focus. Health is the main topic in today's world. Like health is something that is put out there as such a vulnerable thing. Like our body is not able to sustain any health. It looks like, the way we see it on the news, it looks like health is just something that it's not natural. Our bodies are not supposed to be healthy. It's this sense that I get when I turn on the news or see the newspapers this past 2 years. Like, we're not supposed to stand tall on our own. We're not. But it seems like they're convincing us. I don't like it. It's scary. So we gotta step back, observe.
Bring the power back to us.
Yeah, take the power back to us.
Interesting our body rhythm, and doing the best for keeping a strong immune system, strong mind, healthy mind. That's the most important. Body will die, that's for sure. And we are all like, oh, these people are dying, these much people are dying. Everyone dies every day. Like, at least one person, there's people dying every day. It's always been like this before, but we were not counting like we are now. And this is something we need to accept. Like, this body will not last forever.
And accept that we can make a change. We can take care of the body. We are the conductor of the vehicle. So we can take care. We clean our house. We do asanas to open the window to one side, air out. Open the window to another side. Then we turn the house upside down to clean everything. We do a back bend and then go forward bend. And then we put everything together. It's clean. It's good. We sweat it all out.
Yeah. Take responsibility.
We clean the chimney by breathing deep. And then, we're good. One of the good things to understand is that there's a lot of fear in many poses. We feel fear in the body, it's reacting like that. And then we have to try a bit more. I try a little bit more. We try to simulate in a safe way, with someone guiding us or not. Like we try to make it in a safe way. Trust the pose, trust the system, trust the asana, trust the one who's assisting you, and go towards the limit point of your body that you feel, and then back off. Okay, don't go beyond. Just go a little bit more, a little bit more. And most of the times it's our head is putting these limits on the body, on the physical capability. And the idea of we having a mental blockage towards the physical manifestation is something that comes out very true and often in our lives. The way we look at the possibilities. It's something that's changed. Like the monkey, his possibilities at some point there was demons, and someone is setting me up. I'm gonna die. And then at some other point he was like, oh, this is pretty nice. He had the best room in the castle, the tower. Yeah. Mind above matter, that's what they say.
Every thought when we talk about it, I make a question.
It's such a big topic, right? And I find it very hard to live it. Like it's once you start studying, you can talk about it with people. Some terms are very common, impermanence and stuff like that, but I find it very hard to live it. And but at the same time, now that I'm practicing, I also find it important to keep talking about it, because in practice, when I'm practicing, it's easier to come to my mind. And I still practice on the mat and also off the mat.
Yeah, definitely. Talking, studying helps you.
You start to integrate more. Yes. It's
But
not just reading and knowing. It's not. It's something you have to feel inside.
To live it.
Yeah,
but it's the hardest part.
It's the hard and most important.
The most important is.
Like we were saying, when something of conflict comes in, something that surprises you, you're able to apply these thoughts and calm yourself down, or react in a way that's supposed to. It's very important. It's very difficult as well.
And slowly, step by step. Start on the mat. When you have a thought, I'm not able to do this. You're like, okay, no, I can do this. I'll try. I'll do my best. That's enough.
Yeah, even challenges can be impermanent as well. Can be in phase.
Then you see like challenges you had before, you have fear, and now it's gone.
Looking back,
You have another one, no way. And then you remember, oh, I had this one and it was gone, so I have more courage this time because I know it will pass. So everything will change.
But it keeps us humble, no? It keeps us humble because we're trying and we don't know how the day is going to go, what kind of things will come up, what kind of triggers. I think people who keep very busy lives, always moving around, don't have space to create and integrate this kind of thoughts. Don't have much space. Well, there's people that challenge the heart. They just can't do it. They find space. People who move a lot, they can do a lot of things. It's impressive they can find a space in the day to practice and to apply these things, and then they move on. With consistency, these things start to integrate. So yeah, the 6 a.m. class, where people can come, apply the dance, and then they can move and run to their day. Hopefully it will take a little bit of time. So we try to create space for that. And some people come and create
But we have so many moments we can take to be more contemplative, like just eating, being more present, eating, not being so not scrolling on the phone while doing things.
Taking a bath.
Being more present, doing whatever you're doing, cooking, whatever you're doing, even driving or being on the subway or going to work. You can contemplate on something. You always have time for these things if we want to.
Start thinking about it. How our daily life is a relationship between outer world and inner world, and realizing how does the outer world make me feel, and how do I feel about the outer world, or how do things feel me, in a way, like this is always being challenged in a way. How it's always new, we don't take it for granted. Like when you're doing food, you can think about the carrot. Now it's the end of their life, and it's gonna probably not. In a larger scale, it is carrot, but the atomic life, it never changes. It was always an atom. It became an atom in the carrot. It will go an atom in you, and it will go out. It will always be an atom. In the end, it's never ending. It's just changing the form. But we can think in the scale of a carrot. It was the balance of the carrot was when it was in the soil with the roots and the leaves. When we take it out, we take that balance, but we bring it to another balance. So there's always like change happening. So we start observing that and being optimistic. Very hard, but when we have like these times during the day to contemplate, like a sunset, can be listen to music, we can take in these thoughts, breathing deeply about how nature unfolds in this mysterious way, with consciousness as a behind the scenes manager. We start taking that in, being able to connect to that source more deeply.
And we don't need to feel guilty if we cannot do that, just accept whatever it is at this moment. Yeah. Just doing your best and be happy with your best today, And tomorrow is another opportunity, Don't beat yourself. Yeah, that's important, don't beat yourself. Like, I should have done this, I didn't do this, it's already gone. So you just can do now another thing. You cannot change the past, so just accept and be at peace. Don't beat yourself up. There's always going to be another opportunity.
Purnamudachyate